Okay, we are going to start with some nice and sharp cheer jacks. Try to focus on placing each motion nice and strong and being super tight between each motion. Okay, next we're moving into some high knees. So you're gonna squeeze your core, lift your knees up as high as you can, and run in place. So next we are switching into some hop lunges and squats. So we're going hop squat, hop lunge, hop lunge. For those lunges, make sure you do both legs. Transition onto our hands now into a high plank, and then we're going to do some mountain climbers. So you can do these as slow or as fast as you need to, just make sure you're doing them properly. So we want to keep our back nice and flat as we lift our knees in, and we don't want to stick our hips into the air. And then once we're done with these mountain climbers, we're gonna shift into a plank on our elbows. We're just gonna hold it here nice and strong. Try to pull your belly button into your spine, squeeze your bottom, and keep your back nice and flat. That was the full warm-up. It's really important to do some kind of warm-up before you start stretching, just to get your muscles moving. And with that, let's get into the stretch. So we are just starting with some head rolls side to side, and then we're gonna do some arm circles, nice big circles, nice slow and controlled movements, so you can feel that full stretch. Okay, and moving right away into our straddle. Start nice and tall, back straight, toes pointed, legs straight, and then reach straight down for one side. You're trying to get your belly button to your thigh, your nose to your knee, and reaching past your foot. We're gonna hold this stretch for 30 seconds, so make sure that you're just staying nice and still and you're breathing. Now we're gonna come back up to the middle and then reach straight down for our other leg. Same stretch as before, just on the other side, and we're holding it for 30 seconds. Most of our stretches we're going to be holding for 30 seconds, but some will be a little bit shorter, some will be a little bit longer. Come back into the center, make your back nice and straight, lift your shoulders up, and then you're gonna bend your hips forward to stretch that straddle in the center. Try to reach your hands as far as you can in front of you, and your goal is to get your belly button down to the floor. Try not to hunch your shoulders here. Keep your back nice and flat. From here, we're gonna move into our standing pike stretch. So get on your feet, stand up nice and tall, arms by your ears, and then fold your hips forward. If you need to soften your knees a little bit here, you can, but really try to keep them as locked as possible. If you need more of a stretch, try to get your belly button to your thighs and wrap your hands around the backs of your legs, or you can just let yourself hang into your stretch. next stretch is going to be our pike on the floor. So you're going to sit in your pike, reach your arms up to the ceiling, lengthen your back, and fold your hips forward. Your goal is to get your belly button to your thighs, so try not to hunch your shoulders, and just hold and breathe into this stretch. Okay, once this stretch is over, we're going to be moving into some hip stretches. Some of you might find these really easy, some of you might find them more challenging, which is okay. So we're starting with our legs in front of us. Bend one knee in and then cross your ankle over that knee. You can hold it here, or you can try to pull that bottom foot into your body more and then push that top knee down with your hand if you need a little bit more of a stretch. Okay, now you can uncross your legs, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So pull the other foot in, cross your opposite ankle over your knee, and then if you need more of that stretch, just pull that bottom foot in towards your body and push the top knee down. Our next hip stretch is a little trickier to get into, but I'll try to explain it as best I can. So you're going to bend one leg into a 90-degree angle in front of you, and then you're going to stack the other leg right on top. The goal is to get both knees and ankles in line and to get them to touch. If you need more of a stretch here, you can lean forward, but try to keep your bottom on the floor. Okay, so we are going to do the exact same stretch on the other side. So now that opposite leg will go underneath, and then the other leg's going to stack right on top. Again, trying to get both knees and ankles touching, and then leaning forward if you need more of a stretch. Okay, you can uncross your legs now, and we're going to roll over to our back for our next stretch. So we're starting with our knees pulled in, and we're crossing one ankle over our other knee. And then we're going to pull underneath that thigh to try to get our knees closer to our chest. Now we're going to do the same stretch on the other side. So starting with your knees pulled in, you're going to take the other ankle and cross it over your knee, and then pull underneath that thigh to try to get your knees closer to your chest. Alright, our last hip stretch is going to be our pigeon. So we're going to start in our lunge, and then we're going to drop our top knee down to the side. I like to keep my leg at a 90-degree angle in front of me as best as I can. I feel like that's how I get the best stretch. Really make sure you're keeping your hips in line and you're not sitting on one hip or the other. If you need more of a stretch here, think about pushing your hips down into the ground, and then you can drop forward onto your elbows. And And then we're gonna do the same stretch on the other leg. So go into your opposite leg lunge, drop that knee down to the side, and then push your hips down as low as you need to, and go onto your elbows if you need more of that stretch. Okay, moving into our splits stretches. So we're gonna start in a nice long lunge. So our leg behind us is going to be as straight as we can get it. Our front knee is going to be in line with our ankle. We don't want to push that knee forward over our toe. And we're trying to keep our chest up here. So if you want to rest your hands on your hips, or if you want to hold on to something to balance so you can keep your chest up, that's fine too. And really think about pushing your hips down into the floor. Next, we're gonna sit our hips back, straighten out our front leg, and reach past our front foot. Start with your toe pointed, but if you think you need more of a stretch, you can flex that foot up and really push that heel into the ground. Now we're moving back into our lunge position and pushing our hips forward again. Then we're gonna bend our back knee up, grab that back foot with the opposite hand, and rest the other hand on our knee. This is gonna help us balance here. Get ready to slide into splits. So here we go, one hand on either side of our body, and we're sliding down into our splits. Make sure your hips are squared towards the front and we're not sitting on one hip or the other. Make sure your back knee is down on the ground and the top of your back foot is on the floor. We're gonna be holding this one for 1 minute and we're gonna be switching positions throughout. Okay, so we're gonna take the opposite arm to the leg that's forward and reach it beside our foot, and then our other arm is going to reach back past behind our hips. We're trying to get our nose down to our knee, and we're just gonna hold this position. Last stretch in our splits, we're gonna pull our shoulders back up, hands by our sides, and lean back. Try not to twist your body from one side to the other, just keep your hips nice and straight. All right, and we're gonna slide out of this leg and move into our split stretches on the other side. So we're starting in our nice long lunge. Remember, our back leg is as straight as we can get it. Your chest is up tall and your hands are on your hips, so you can focus on pushing your hips down into the floor. Now we're sitting our hips back, straightening out our front leg and reaching past our front foot. If you need more of a stretch, remember you can flex that front foot up towards the ceiling and push that heel down into the ground. Back to our lunge position, pushing our hips forward, bending our back knee up, and grabbing that back foot with the opposite hand. Now we're going to slide down into splits on this leg, so just like before, put one hand on either side of your leg, slide down as far as you can, try not to sit on one side or the other, just keep those hips nice and squared towards the front. And also remember not to turn your back knee and foot out to the side, you want to keep both of them facing the floor. Just like the other leg, we're reaching the opposite arm to the leg that's forward, right beside our front foot, and we're reaching our other hand back past our hips, and we're just leaning down and holding it. Now we're bringing our chest and shoulders up, putting our hands beside our hips, and leaning back. Remember not to twist your body from one side to the other. Keep those hips squared. Alright, slide on out of those splits, and we're going to move into some over splits. So I have a yoga block here to elevate my foot on, but you can use anything like pillows or folded up towels, really anything that you can put your foot up on. So I'm just sliding into my splits, and as you can see here, I'm sitting on my hip. That's not what you want to do, so we're gonna fix that, and we're squaring our hips just like we do in our normal splits, and we're just gonna start with our chest up, shoulders up nice and tall. Just like our other splits, we're gonna be holding this for 1 minute and switching positions as we hold it. Okay, same as before, take the opposite arm to the leg that's forward, reach it beside your foot, and that other hand is going to slide past your hips behind you. As usual, really make sure that your legs are nice and straight and your toes are pointed. Sometimes when we have our foot up on something for our over splits, our heel untucks and then our foot flexes, so just be aware of that. We're gonna pull our shoulders up, place our hands beside our hips, and reach back nice and straight. Remember not to twist your hips. Okay, and we're gonna slide out of this leg, and we're gonna do the same thing on the other side, sliding into our over splits. Again, make sure that your legs are straight, toes are pointed. We're not sitting our hip to one side. We're just sitting up nice and tall with our chest up, resting our hands right beside our hips. And taking the opposite arm to the leg that's forward, reaching it right beside our front foot and sliding that other hand back past our hips. We're gonna hold this position. Okay, now pull your chest up, hands beside your hips, and reach back nice and straight. Okay, you can come on out of those splits, and we're gonna warm up for our middles now with some froggy splits. So we're on our knees, and then we're trying to separate our knees as far away as we can from each other, holding ourselves up on our elbows. This stretch is just for 15 seconds. Alright, come on out of your froggies and then come up onto your hands and your feet for our middles. We're going to slide down on the inside of our feet, so that means the top of your foot should be facing the front. Once you've gotten all the way down, go onto your elbows. Make sure that your hips aren't too far forward or too far back. They should be right in line with your feet. And we're going to hold this one for 30 seconds. Okay, come on out of your middle splits, and we're going to end with a little bit of back and shoulder stretching. So that's going to be our back bridges. So first bridge, we're pushing up and we're adjusting. So we have our feet and our knees glued together, and then we're pushing our legs straight Push all of your weight over top of your shoulders and hold it for 10 seconds. And come on down from that bridge, rock and roll it out, and get ready for our last stretch, which is going to be one more bridge. We're going to walk our hands and feet as close as we can get them towards each other for this bridge, but still make sure that your weight is over top of your shoulders and you're not leaning into your feet too much. Alright, come on down from that bridge, rock and roll it out, and that is all I have for you guys in this video. Feel free to use it however you'd like. You can follow along with it, or you can add bits and pieces into your own stretching routines. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos.